Aljamain, I would suspect that anytime someone wins a world title, it's a whirlwind of emotions and craziness. I think for you, I mean, I can't actually really imagine what have the last few days been like since Saturday night.
Yeah, it's been very different for me, for sure. Not the way I envision everything to go down, the way that it has, and I can't. It's just a mix of emotions, you know. I was excited to be in the title fight situation. I thought it was a very winnable matchup. I was in great shape. A couple things didn't go my way in the fight in terms of the techniques that I was using. My cardio failed me a lot sooner than it has in training, and I had a lot of people being super critical about my approach and the type of fight I was trying to fight. But if they see my training, they would have known that round one was the output that I've been putting out pretty much all through consistently from rounds 1 through 5 in sparring sessions with fresh bodies, 2-3 different bodies, you know. So I was confident, supremely confident that I can go like an energized bunny the entire time, and that wasn't the case. For some reason, I did feel a little off in the back room. I didn't want to worry the team. I didn't tell anybody, and I think there's a couple of things I need to tweak so that I peak at the right time. You know, we always talk about the science of peaking at the right time for a fight. You can do all the right things in training camp, but when it comes time when you're walking out there, you have to make sure that you're ready to go. And I was ready to go mentally, but physically my body just wouldn't do the things that it normally does. And positions that I thrive in against the cage, losing left and right. It was like someone was outside the octagon just tossing a bunch of banana peels in there, and I was just slipping and sliding, throwing kicks and then falling on my ass, going for a single. Yan just controlling a whizzer in the wrist, and I'm falling over, trying to step over the leg. I'm like, stuff that I didn't even know was even possible, that I could even, like, I don't think, if someone told me I would ever look like that, I would say you're lying. You know what I mean?
Do you think it's something to do with the emotions of a title fight? Or like, even because I know you and him like kind of went back and forth the whole time. It wasn't like, you weren't exactly fucking friends. Do you know what I mean? So do you think there's an element of, man, maybe I just had an adrenaline dump that I wasn't really feeling until, do you know what I mean?
An adrenaline dump is definitely possible, but to have that around 4 o'clock in the evening time doesn't seem like something that makes a lot of sense to me, you know, looking at it from that standpoint. And when I say I didn't feel right, in terms of like when if I were to flex, I felt like my muscles were hurting as opposed to feeling charged up and ready to go, like feeling like powerful. Like I did my morning shakeout, I felt great. And unfortunately, for whatever it was, after that downtime, I ate at 10:30. I didn't eat again until I got home from the hospital till like 11:30 at night. So maybe that was probably something that has something to do with it. I just didn't feel my body enough to go at that pace, and my body was probably like, "You need to chill out, son," you know. And that could have honestly really been it right there. But I felt like I was ready for the moment. I visualized what it would feel like standing across the octagon. I seen Jan's face across from the cage from me multiple times, and I felt like I was going to win that fight. Even the way I was feeling, I still felt like I could have still gotten it done. But a couple of mistakes and a couple of failed takedown attempts later, things start to go his way in that 4th round. I can admit that. Before that, I was a little bit back and forth, although he was kind of tossing me around from me just making mistakes, throwing slow spinning elbows and standing in front of him. And, you know, all things that I was doing, giving him gifts, and all he had to do was unwrap it. So very fixable things. And if that's the best Petr Yan, I feel confident going into the next one, and I'm happy about it.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing, man. Like, there's so much to unpack about this fight, right? Because of all the crazy drama and stuff. But it's weird. You talk about going into a rematch. Man, like you said, it was going his way. You know, you made some mistakes and it was starting to go his way. And then he makes like, I don't know if you...
The ultimate mistake.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, man, like, I don't know. Like, trying to explain to me, like, now you've had a few days to digest it. Like, what do you think he was thinking? Like, because for me, watching it, it was about as illegal a move as you can probably do. I'll be candid. I thought even if you could have continued, they should have DQ'd him anyway, because there's no way you could have continued, even if you thought you could. So I thought as soon as he landed it, I was like, well, that's that over. It was just really bizarre to me. So for you being in there with him, what do you think he was thinking? What do you think he was doing? Was it intentional? Like he thought, I'm just going to knee this guy in the head and hopefully won't get DQ'd? What do you think he thought?
Well, he definitely wanted to knee me in the head.
That's true.
I mean, he asked, you know. He could have looked, but instead he asked and then threw the knee, you know. It doesn't get any more intentional. Intentional means you meant to do it. It's not like you accidentally kneed me in the head, my guy. You did that, you know. I don't know what was going through his head, if he thought I was really up or he's just that stupid, you know. I don't think you get to the championship level and still make mistakes like that, but apparently you do. And that's on him. That's not on me. Unfortunately, I had to be the one that was in there to pay the ultimate price for that, which I just hope, you know, knock on wood, it doesn't have any like long-term effects on my career in terms of my ability to withstand strikes. You know, I don't want to be that guy getting jabbed in the face and he has a slow reaction or his eyes are rolling in the back of his head because he just can't absorb the punishment from a jab. You know, you saw the shots I was able to take and still keep coming forward, keeping the pressure on him. I do think he was frustrated. And I can hear his corner imploring with him during the middle of the fight. And it sounded like they were trying to encourage him when it was weird because I'm the one that's visibly tired. Visibly tired. It's no secret. Like, he saw that I was fatigued. It's not like I could mask it anymore. It's like, at this point, you know I'm tired. Dude, I don't care. I'm just going to walk forward, and you know I'm tired. It's no secret. I can't poker face this anymore. Like, cat's out of the bag. It's like when you get hit with a hard shot, you could keep the poker face knowing that you hurt, like, I'm going to pretend. He already saw it. I showed my hand already. So at that point, it's just like, I just got to go. So that's what I tried to do. And I think he was a little frustrated for me not backing up from his shots and wilting in the corner because he's used to doing that to guys, getting them against the cage and just unloading his barrage of attacks and then putting them out. And I think he realized I wasn't going to quit in there. And I think that's the difference. I do think it was just out of frustration and he might have lost touch of what was actually happening in the positioning. And he made the mistake. I mean, he apologized, but then started saying I was faking. So it's like, Are you apologizing or was I faking? Like, which one is it? So it was a bullshit apology, which I thought it was anyway to begin with. It was like, dude, that's not an apology. You meant to throw that knee. So what are you apologizing for? Like, don't try to save face to just look like the nice guy. Like, you know. So
yeah, what have you made of his? We'll get onto the fans in a second, but of his reaction, like you said, so he tweeted out an apology, and then I think within 2 hours,
he was attacking me.
Yeah, kind of all that back. So. From your perspective of him, I know you guys weren't particularly amicable anyway. Now what's your attitude towards him, seeing what you call a fake apology and seeing his attitude towards you?
I really don't know. I mean, I don't hate the guy, but I do question if he's really just a dirty fighter. You know, the whole thing when he's fighting with his hands out, poking guys in the eyes, and now this. I've heard he's done this before in another fight matchup over at ACB before. I didn't see that fight, so I can't really speak on it, but I heard that he did the same thing, an illegal knee to a down opponent, and he couldn't do anything because the ref, it is what it is. I'm not trying to start talking about a whole bunch of other stuff. You know, he did what he did. He paid the ultimate price for it, and I'm in this position because of him, not because I did anything wrong. And the only thing I could do is just move forward, make those adjustments, and do what I do in training so that I can show everyone, like, I can 100% keep that pace for 25 minutes. And that whatever happened that night was just so weird. And I think it showed a lot about my mental toughness, man. If that's going to be a depleted me in terms of the capacity that I showed up in, if I could fight like that still being that exhausted, imagine me what I'm saying that I could do. I've got video proof evidence. I don't need to prove this to anybody. The people who've been in the training room know that I'm capable of doing that. So I just got to get ready for the next one and really just make sure I dial whatever that was in and dial that in and get this done and validate this belt.
Speaking of the belt, I think, look, winning the title that way, you're always going to get criticized online. Like, people criticize anything anyway. So I think it was always going to end up pretty bad. I think, the next day that you did the photo with Cejudo, that's when it like really ramped up. I don't know if you feel that way, but
I was trolling. Yeah, definitely trolling.
Did you guys like plan that, or you just bumped into each other? How did that even come to be?
I randomly saw him at the hotel, and I walk over and I go, well. If it isn't the shit talker himself, you know, and then we talked. You know, I said, listen, man, I know your shtick. I understand yours. That's why when he said everything, I just wrote cool, you know, because I was like, I don't even have the mental energy because of everything I'm dealing with right now to even give you a real response and entertain you. I knew what I was dealing with in terms of the blow to my head, the illegal strike. And no one could tell me anything. You could make up all the Oscar stuff you want. Let me do that to you, and let me see how you react to that. You know, I had friends and family that traveled all the way across from all over the country to come see me. You know, they spent a lot of money to come out here to watch me fight. Everyone watches at the house. They see me as a champ, even though they know the stipulation. They're like, I didn't even take the belt home. Someone brought the belt home for me, and they was like, "Oh, open it."
So that's the funny thing. So
it's sad.
I was talking to Al while you were downstairs, and I said to him, "Man, if one of my friends had won the belt like that, I would know he would be pretty down.
Yes.
And if his family and friends are all here and there's 30 of us here, I'm not going to let him spend the rest of the night moping. Of course, I'm going to be like, come on, let's fucking do some shit. Like, let's get on. You know." So I kind of felt bad for you when I saw that stuff going up. To me, you even looked reluctant in the video. Do you know what I mean? So I kind of feel bad that you got backlash for that as well.
Yeah, so I'm. You can see me in the video. I'm looking at the belt because I didn't even get to look at it. Like, I left the belt. So I don't even know who brought the belt to the house, but somehow I'm eating my chicken because, like I said, I ate breakfast. I did my morning shakeout. I ate breakfast. I didn't eat a single thing again until after the fight when I got home from the hospital. So about 11:30 at night, I ate like a piece of a chicken, grilled chicken, which was like maybe 2 ounces. I ate. That's all I had to eat for pretty much dinner until we actually went and got food. I ended up throwing up that night, and people said I was drinking. I had a sip of a champagne cup, a sip, because I didn't want to drink, because I didn't feel like there was nothing to really celebrate. And two, I just had a ridiculous blow to the head, probably more likely concussed, and I don't know what the severity of it is yet. And I didn't want to put myself in a bad way, so I didn't drink. I didn't celebrate. I just gave a toast for everyone coming out, telling them I appreciate them for them spending their money coming out, watching me come chase a dream, and sorry the fight went this way, and hopefully the next one I could validate this, and then we could really celebrate. And I said, just, I appreciate you guys, and cheers.
What's the fan backlash and all the comments on Instagram been like? I mean, I'm assuming it's
crazy.
Like, yeah. I mean, TheMacLife's had a few comments from Russian fans over the years as well, so I can kind of relate. But has it just been insane? Like, has this been the biggest reaction you've ever had in your career? I know the Marlon thing was like a bit crazy, but
yeah, no, this is definitely the biggest reaction I've had from a fan base perspective. The Russian fans, I tell you what, man, I do love how much they get behind their athletes, their guys. That's cool to see. I do wish, like, as a country, the U.S. got behind all their athletes like that. Even if they didn't know them, as long as they knew they were Team USA, they got behind them and gave them a rah-rah. You see a lot of these guys, when they're fighting other people, they're siding for the other guy. Like, I understand you're going to have your favorite fighters, but it's just cool to see. But I get, like, the U.S. is so selective because we have NBA, we have MLB, we have all these sports that we can look at and have people that we care about. So it's like when you see a guy, he's like, yeah, I don't really care. This guy looks better, so I'm just going to root for him, kind of thing. Like, Russia, they get behind their guys no matter what. It just seems like that's just the way they are. And they're rowdy, man. The only thing I don't agree with is the death threats and stuff. Like, that stuff's a little over the top. But for me, I don't mind it.
That I'm ever going to go on like Instagram and be like, I fucking hate. I've never been that angry. I don't get it at all.
And then getting angry as if I did something illegal. I'm like, wait, you're mad that I got beat in the head? Wait, hold on, let me rewind this real quick. Wait, you're upset at me because I got kneed in the head.
How dare you?
My bad.
How dare you?
How dare I do that?
Yeah. Has it been frustrating? Has it just been like, come on, like, give me a break?
I mean, I'm not like bothered by it. The only thing that I can't really enjoy is going on social media and actually responding to, like, the true fans, because I do engage with some trolling myself, and this is just too much. I can't troll everybody, So
I don't know. That's the Cejudo picture did a good job, right?
Yeah. So that's my troll right there. So I respond selectively to where I can. I can't even go to my DMs, because if I go to my DMs, it's just just Russian F this or that, or middle fingers, or dropping the M-bomb and calling me all kinds of shit. So if I do see a good one, I do try to respond or give it a like, because that's just how I am. I engage with the fans. I've always been like this my entire career, even before the UFC. I engage with fans. I build the fight up. I try to get people invested in what I'm doing. I'm super transparent about my life, and I think that's why fans gravitate to me, because I'm almost like an open book. If they have questions, I try to help. If it's not, like, if I have the time and second of the day, I try to help. Even in this position that I'm in today, I still take time out to talk to people, and I think that's why people like me as much as they do now, because I'm just relatable, So,
dude, it's funny you say that. I was thinking on the way over here what we were going to talk about, and I thought to myself, I've seen a lot of people being like, oh, he should just, like, act up to it, play the heel and stuff like that. And I thought it's funny because you're probably one of the few people in this sport now who won't do that because you're kind of just who you are as a genuine person. So I kind of find that funny that like people want you to like rock the belt, do a Cejudo basically, and bring props out.
I thought about it.
Yeah.
I thought about it just to piss them off even more because I just thought it would just be a funny joke as long as I have some security because I know a couple of them might actually come here, they're trying to find me. But you're not the real champ. It would actually be hilarious. But I don't.
You should have too. You should be like, I'm a double champ. You know.
Yeah, it might not be a bad idea. I mean, some people would be pretty pissed off and turned off by it.
But I think the fact
hilarious.
you're not doing that just kind of shows like you're just being yourself.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I think it makes, personally for me, as an outsider, it makes you a bit more relatable. I think if you then turned it down and doubled it down, it'd be like, oh, fucking look at this guy, you know? So
yeah.
Although I do see the appeal. I do see the appeal.
It would be pretty good
Dude,
laugh.
please, next time you do it at a press conference, bring out like an Oscar statue and be like,
oh my God. I got a lot of ideas, man. You know, so the people have given me a lot of ammo. I don't take life so serious, man. You know, I took a serious shot. It could be a career-altering one we've seen before in the past with like TJ Grant getting a title shot, never ever getting to fight for the belt because his concussion was so bad he never got over his symptoms. Chris Holworth, another UFC fighter, same exact thing happened to him. I just don't want to be a statistic, and I want to make sure I'm doing the right thing, giving myself time, and then getting back after it where I feel right and ready and mentally prepared to go. You know, so. The physical is easy, man. I could put in the grind. Anyone could put in the grind as long as you can get up to do it. You know, I just got to make sure mentally I can get through a training camp and especially if I'm gonna be doing hard sparring again like that. 5 rounds is a lot, man. You know, like I said, I was going with 3 fresh guys, two or three fresh bodies. So for me to do that, you're gonna take some licks, you know. So I got to make sure I'm prepared to go through a gauntlet like that again. But yeah, I got some ideas just to have a little fun and. Just to poke fun back at the Russian fans.
Right, so I've got 2 more questions for you because you've been generous with your time and I know you've done a lot of media today. And in fact, probably ever since the fight, it's just been like day after day after day. You said something on the video you put on your YouTube channel that I found interesting and I kind of agreed with. Like, I believe if you lost on Saturday, the odds of you getting a rematch anytime soon are probably pretty slim. I think, and we've sort of spoken in the past, you know, briefly about this stuff as well. It took you quite a while to get a title shot in the first place. And bantamweight division is one of those divisions where Henry can show back up, Dominic can get like a late notice for thing, and you can just find yourself going down the pecking order through no fault of your own. So I found it interesting that you said that and acknowledged it. Do you believe, like, if you'd have lost that fight, you'd have got a rematch, like, within the next 2 years?
No, I think if I had lost that fight I try to come back and I end up getting finished or losing the decision, being extra compromised, I don't think I'm getting a shot for a while, you know, especially if Petr Yan's the guy still at the top. So I think things would have been pretty challenging for me to get that road back to the title. And that would have been very disheartening. But, you know, I'm one of those guys who's been knocked down multiple times, and I've always found a way to battle back through adversity. So mentally strong, man, but I do know what I was going up against, and those were the thoughts that were going through my head when I was down. I was like, this is going to be a no contest. Dana's going to look at the 4th round and use that to judge the entire fight and say, well, we know which direction this fight was going in anyway. It was starting to get ugly. So, yeah, we're going to do the next fight. And it's a hot division, so I can't really be mad at him. It's his organization, but I know the reality of everything. You know, I'm very aware of what's going on in the business, and I was willing to choose to keep fighting just because I knew I wasn't going to get another shot for such a long time and just take an extra ass whooping, which, like I said, would have been detrimental to my career and my ability to absorb strikes in the future. So I'm glad the ref finally decided to jump in. And I don't remember this, but Ray came back to the house. He said Mark Smith came to the ambulance to just check on me, and I appreciate that because I don't remember even seeing him after the fight.
Yeah, you're probably concussed, bro.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure I was. I don't remember talking to Joe. I remember I asked to do the interview, and I was apologizing.
Do you regret doing that now, asking to do the interview?
No, my main goal in that was to apologize, and that was really it. I had no message other than that to get across, and I don't even know how I even said it, how long it took, how long the interview was, what else Joe asked me. I have no idea.
I think Joe was a bit surprised as well.
I don't remember any of that, but I don't know. Yeah, that's yeah. So there are a couple of voids in there, a couple of things I remember, a couple of things whatever, but it's the name of the game.
In terms of health, you went to the hospital, got checked out. What lasting impacts do they know you have, or how do you feel now, like a few days out of it? What injuries you carrying?
Concussions are weird, man. They're very tricky. It's kind of like COVID in the sense that it affects everyone differently. You never know how it's going to affect you. You never know the type of impact that could be. For instance, Weidman's fight with Mousasi, that knee, although it might not look that devastating, that knee messed him up worse than the knee from Yoel Romero and the other one from Luke Rockhold, you know. So it goes to show you there are levels to concussions, and for people to act like they're doctors and say, "Oh, Dana said you were fine." Yeah, the CAT scan said I had no bleeding on my head, you idiot. You're not a doctor. You don't know what I'm feeling. You don't know what I'm seeing. You don't know everything that's just going around in my head. You can't see my vision. You don't know anything. You don't know what I'm going to feel like when I try to sleep at night, when I've had vertigo before in the past. It's that's the only thing I will say that bothered me. But at the end of the day, I'm like, why am I even trying to prove anything to anybody? These guys all of a sudden have PhDs in concussions. Like, okay, all right, you guys know more than I do. So, whatever. There's not much I can really say about it. I will say though, for you, because you brought up Henry, that for some reason that guy is just like, he's like herpes, man. That guy just manages to pop his head up out of everywhere. He goes away and then somehow he just shows up at the wrong time all the time, just like at the hotel. When I see him at the hotel, like this guy just always just pops up out of nowhere, you know. So that's an interesting one. I do think after we do this rematch, that may be potentially be in the works.
You think so? Do you think like you have to do the rematch before anything else, because otherwise people are just gonna throw this stuff at you until you do?
Yeah, people are gonna say what they want. They're gonna say what they want no matter what, you know. So if Dana said they wanted to do something else, that's on Dana. I don't control that, you know. They can
I guarantee
say,
it won't be Dana getting the shit if that happens, though.
Yeah, it won't be. It would be me.
Yeah.
But it's like, what do you want me to do? Tell Dana, nah. I mean, I can ask for it. I did ask for it. I texted Dana. Even though I texted Dana when I was doped up on morphine in the hospital, and I was like, yeah, I want to run it back ASAP. And I wasn't even thinking. Like, I was not even in the right mindset. Just, hey man, I want to fight again. Like, let's do this ASAP. I was like, yeah, sure. Was that me?
Yeah. That's probably an indication we're running over. Last question, man. When I know you want to
turn my volume off. I don't get this.
Stop talking about Dana. Stop talking about Dana. When would you like to run it back? I know you want to take some time, make sure long-term effects from the blow to the head is good and stuff, and you don't want to rush back into camp. But if you could pick a month, when would you do it?
The summer would be ideal. Maybe July or August. When I fought Marlon and I had that knockout, I didn't have any symptoms after that, but I was very wise and smart, took time off. And I remember even talking to Al about it. I've talked to Ray, Matt, Sarah, a couple guys who've dealt with that before, but and Al was the one that told me, like, kind of like, yo, dude, it happened, whatever, just enjoy the time and come back, reassess, you got caught, and it's just one of those things, you know, we just fix the mistake and just don't make any rash decisions like that again in the cage, because you can really pay the ultimate price for it. So after that fight, I didn't do any sparring going into the fight with Brett Johns, you know. So I think I might have done the last like 2 weeks of the fight, and I told the guys, like, I'm gonna wrestle you guys to death. So I was like, I want you guys to try to tag me like Brett Johns is gonna try to do, but just know I'm gonna just be looking, I'm gonna be circling, I'm gonna be looking for takedowns, and I'm not getting hit in the head. Like, as in, I'm not going to allow that to happen, and that's what I did going into that fight. That was my preparation. So I could see something very similar into this approach and just leaving very minimal sparring, kind of like a Max Holloway approach. I see what I need to see with Yan. I just need to tighten things up and make sure I'm sharp on the night, and I think it'll be a good night for me. Good
stuff, man. And I think, like, look, it wasn't how you wanted to win it, but you are the UFC champion of the 135-pound division, and you know, I look forward to seeing you in the rematch going with that attitude.
Thank you. I talked to my strength and conditioning coach out here. We're going to figure out what happened. And like I said, man, part of me really, just because of the ego takes over, just wants to prove that, listen, man, I can go that pace where I really can. But it's what am I getting out of that? A hand clap and a pat on the ass, you know. So it is what it is. I'll just show it when I get the other opportunity to do so.